Hey, I'm coming out. Hey, welcome back to the podcast. Hey, out. Vibe with me, y'all. Out. It's Freedom Friday. It's Freedom Friday. Hey, I want the world to know. Got to let it show. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Welcome back to the It Had to Be Said podcast, episode 5. This is Freedom Fridays. Oh, I love Freedom Fridays because we get to just talk, we get to sit, we get to build, we got to let it marinate, you know. So, this episode was inspired by I'm Coming Out by Diana Ross. As you can tell, please listen to that song, y'all. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm coming out. As a 25-year-old woman, single, and discovering who I am, I've come to the point in my healing journey where I realize and I'm ready to fully put myself out there. You know, I've had a few false starts, went back to refine certain things and heal from things, and then you step out again, and then you hurt your toe again, and then you refine, and you come to this point where you're ready to come out. You know, it's time to step out. It's time to go in and conquer the promised land. Okay? And I just pray that the people who are sent to this message, they're in alignment and in understanding of what I'm saying. Even the people that sent here where you're not necessarily at the point of ready to be fully put on display, I pray that you can perceive some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight, because it's not just for people that's here right now. We're going to talk about some of the things that, you got to deal with from your past. So I feel like Freedom Fridays in my mind has become like a girl talk, a safe place to vent, a safe place to talk about deep things and mindsets and emotional states and spiritual places that we're at or that we have came from. You know, it's like a kind of like a girl hold my hand. Let's get vulnerable, which is one of the key words for tonight is vulnerability. So I'm getting into the flow of recording, and I'm getting into the flow of my gift of speaking and writing. I love writing. That is one of my gifts. But, a part of coming out is actually being able to speak these things, you know. So I refer to my notes sometimes, but I just try to let it flow and be authentic over here. We ain't with all the rah rah. We ain't with all the fakery and the foolery and the time. We want to actually touch people. So I've come to a point in my journey where I'm standing on who I am. Okay, I, you got to get to a point where you're no longer having people make you doubt who you are. Listening to people tell you who you are, listening to people critique who you are, judge, condemn, put you down for who you are. Like, no. Okay, girl, get up, and you have to look in the mirror and you got to give yourself these affirmations on who you are, what you're going to do, where, and how to go. Like, we're grown now. I know I'm grown now. We got to put the big girl panties on and stop letting other people control and dictate how we see ourselves, you know. And I feel for anybody out there that may have grew up in an environment that put limitations on you, Parents that spoke death into you, spoke, you're never going to be anything, you're just this, you're just that. Like all these people that tried to hold you and put you in a box, ugh, okay, they are like, put them in a box. Honestly, put them in the box that they tried to build for you. How about that? Refer to my motivation video, the TI motivation video, to see what I'm talking about with that little joke. So let's get into one of the first points today. I wrote, it's time to leave your shell and never look back. It's time to drop all the defense mechanisms, all the walls, all the guards. Is coming down. Vulnerability is your most valuable currency and where you're going next. You guys, I just spoke on some of the childhood trauma that you may have went through, or even if it wasn't childhood trauma, sometimes people just get neglect. I feel like we're all familiar with trauma, especially the people that I'm called to speak to. I have had my fair share of trauma. Again, like I said, growing up in Detroit, Michigan, you know, like, oh my God, this is taking an unexpected turn, but not having a mother, or my mother being absent, with a drug addicted father. Oh my God, y'all, I'm about to get deep. But just having a drug addicted father and just having such a broken home, coming from a broken home, essentially, we begin to build walls and we have defense mechanisms so that we can protect ourselves. It is literally human nature to adapt to your environment so that you can get your needs met, essentially. So, what I said that to say, where we're coming into in our lives, we no longer have to operate in those personalities, in those defense mechanisms to actually thrive and prosper and grow where we're coming to. Okay, so let's say it like this: when you were a child, you thought as a child, and those things actually did work for what you were trying to do, get your needs met and like just survive. But now we're coming out of survival mode and we're coming into thriving mode, and we're coming into blossoming women where we don't need to be like angry, or we don't need to be fighters. We don't need to be anxious about everything. We can learn how to be patient and still and in our peace. Shout out to the soft girl era. So like we can learn how to be in peace, and we can learn how to use other ways to get what we want, essentially, but not being in survival mode. Vulnerability will be your most valuable currency and where you're going next. Meaning we have to be able to express ourselves to be in healthy relationships. We have to be able to share our experiences with other people so that they may get free, or so that you might meet the right people that are destined to be on your journey with you. Us meeting our soul tribe, us meeting our spiritual family, us going higher in our careers, it will take an amount of vulnerability. Honestly, it really will. And we have been hiding for a while, and we have been like holding all of this in, but it is time. And then too, there are plots and schemes to try to shut you up and keep you quiet. Okay, that's like on the spiritual warfare end of it. We're not going to get deep into that today. We're more so just getting into like the vulnerability of it and the coming out of it. Okay, a rose that grew from the concrete. Okay, so my next point, I wrote, in a world where filtered perfection and having everything figured out is glamorized, real life still exists. And we need authenticity and genuineness. Listen, I say this all the time. Disingenuousness is at an all-time high. It truly is. It truly is. Um, and I'm so fed up with it. You can see it from a mile away. Anyway, sharing your struggles shows far how far you've come, and it's also an indicator of where you are in your healing journey. If you're still ashamed and scared to talk about a thing, you may still be in bondage to that thing. Now, if it's not your time to testify, it's just not your time. But if it's the perfect time, but if the perfect time and the perfect place arises and you find yourself becoming timid and backing out, you may still need to grieve, and that's okay. And sometimes I feel like sometimes we can get to a point where we're like, okay, what's the perfect time and the perfect place? Um, Sometimes you struggle with that because I don't know if I'm supposed to just bear my all right here and there, or should I pull back? You know, kind of like talking about my upbringing. It's like I can candidly talk about my upbringing when I'm like in one-on-one conversations, but a part of this pushing out to, coming out, I'm coming out, it would be me being able to put this on platforms and share my experiences essentially with the world. Because when you put this stuff on the internet, people can find this, okay? Anybody can find this and anybody can get your tea, but it's not really tea to me. You know, I always tell people that this is not tea. I get into that later in the message. This is not tea. And it's like, I be wondering, like, okay, I don't really have that many viewers right now. Should I wait until a certain peak and a certain pinnacle, or should I just pour it all now? You know, I want to be strategic with this thing. I still want to be strategic, but at the same time, if this is going to help you get free, I want this to help you get free. Like I said, I'm still finding my flow. So, anyways, let's keep going. um, Stay ready. Oh yeah, the stay ready, the get ready. So the stay ready, so you ain't got to get ready podcast. I talked about getting ready for what you pray for. Yeah, like some of you guys, y'all are being catapulted into positions of power, leadership, managerial positions, mentorship, and even fame. Some of y'all are coming into fame, fortune, big wealth. Y'all have big mantles on your life. So you have to be content with the person you are, which is what I was saying. Like, one thing about coming out and going full force in your purpose is recognition. People will recognize you and they will be curious. Okay? People will Google you. People will scroll your Facebook. People will want to know any secrets they can find. Okay? People are messy. People will be inspired. Some might copy you. Listen, that's a topic for another day. Okay, they will copy you. You will have a level of responsibility with your influence. Okay, it may be scary, but trust me. If God be with you, who could be against? If God be with you, who could be against you? Yeah, I said that right. If you are easily offended, I've been guilty of that for sure. Um, this is a season to conquer that. If you take things personally, this is the season to conquer that. If you got any skeletons in your closet that you need to tie up, forgive yourself for, it's time for confession and repentance. See, because can't nobody make you feel some type of way about something you have already came to terms with in yourself. Don't come tell me about me. I know me. I done already did that. I know who I am. Don't let nobody have one up on you. That's what coming clean with yourself do. It make nobody be able to have one up on you. Okay, you are not obligated to be subject to anyone's opinion. I promise you that. We not bowing down. We not cowering to none of that. And that's what the enemy does. The enemy likes to have guilt over your head, shame over your head, condemnation over your head, regret over your head, sin over your head, all this other stuff. No. We getting free. We coming from up under all that bondage. We coming from up under all that torment, judgment, all that. Like, we're not being subject to that. We are rising up in our true callings, our true gifts, our true assignments, our true purpose, and we are marching forward, okay? Like, confidence is the ability to handle and conquer anything that comes at you. Not that you just so perfect and you just got it all figured out. You're willingly ready, you know. I know for me in my past, I can speak that I would try to avoid things and I would run away from things thinking that would make that it will go away. Or I would try to numb the pain, or I would try to just do something to get away from facing my issues. But the older I get and like the more I go through my healing journey, I face things head on. Like, okay, this happened, face it head on. Now, I'm not denying the feelings of being scared. You might be scared, feel fear and do it anyway. Okay? Okay? God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of peace and a sound mind. We have to know that. Peace, power, and a sound mind. We have to believe that, and we have to walk in that. And also believe that anything you go through, you can get through that. You're gonna wake up tomorrow, God willing. You know what I'm saying? The worst, not even the worst thing. First of all, I don't even believe death is the worst thing that can happen to us. I'm literally not afraid of death. Like, I know a lot of people are scared of death. That is like on the least thing on my list is dying. I ain't scared to die. So, with that being said, that's the only thing that can happen. You can either die or wake up tomorrow and still have time to deal with it. The biggest thing that we're conquering is conquering the inner me. We are conquering the inner us. We are conquering our fears. And we living out loud, baby. Live out loud. I'm coming out. Listen to that, Diana Ross. I just want to come and talk about this. I'm so happy to create this platform to talk, and I pray that this message gets to the right person. If you want to continue talking about this subject, just let me know. Hit me up in the comments, YouTube. Follow me on Anchor, the Anchor app, and Spotify. It is the It Had to Be Said podcast. You can put in Nettie B, Nettieb, to find it. And also the link will be in my description. Yeah, continue the conversation. I love y'all, and we are coming out. We want the world to see, baby.